Candace and I are talking about moving apartments in New York City. I mean, we're not gonna, I don't think, because it's a stupid idea. We just moved into this place. But we both kind of want to move apartments. Today on the vlog, something a little bit different. Today on the vlog, we're gonna do... Today we're gonna do story time. I do Q&A once a week. I try to read the comments. I try to pay attention to Twitter. And through all that, I see trends. Trends is in people asking the same questions or asking about the same thing kind of a lot. So I just thought, why not do a whole vlog about one subject that I'm particularly passionate about. And that one subject is New York City. See, New York City has always been so much more to me than a place where I live. This city has been my muse, my inspiration. This city has been... I should really preface this entire story time story by saying, if you're someone who identifies with a spirit of adventure or aspiration, figure out how to live in New York City at least once in your life. All right, back to the story. I'm gonna go all the way back here to 1988, when this movie, the movie Big, starring Tom Hanks, came out.
I get some air between you and the tram. I mean, it's easy. Anybody could do this.
The movie is about Tom Hanks, who magically becomes big. He moves to New York City and he has the brain of like a 12-year-old because he's a kid on the inside. He succeeds wildly beyond his expectations, including getting like this ridiculous loft in the neighborhood that I live in right now, and putting a trampoline and like skateboard and a basketball hoop inside his apartment. It really captured my imagination because I was his age before he got big in that movie, and I was obsessed with New York City. So this idea that I could move to the city and be a kid and thrive here was like the most fantastical fantasy I could ever have. When you're a kid, when I was a kid, you're constantly like dreaming, you're fantasizing, you're making yourself all these promises, all these things you want to do when you grow up. You can't do much as a kid, you're just a kid. I always dealt with this overwhelming feeling of helplessness because I wanted to do things, but I couldn't because I was a kid. And that Tom Hanks movie for me really embodied the realization of all of those promises. Here he was, like this guy moved to New York City and he like had the big apartment and the hot girlfriend, trampoline in his loft, and he got like, by being a kid, by doing the things you want to do as a kid. My life's mission is and has always been to realize all of the promises I made to myself as a kid. And look, when I was a kid, I was always in trouble. I was always being told I was wrong. I was always being told I was stupid. I was always being told, don't do that. So I accrued a lot of promises. I was in this permanent state of fantasizing like, well, when I grow up, I'm gonna. And New York City was so wrapped up, it was so enveloped in all of those fantasies. When I went from being a kid who was 12 to being a teenager who was 16, I went from being like this maniac dreamer of a kid to being this like bona fide loser of a teenager who worked in a restaurant and had a pregnant girlfriend and had dropped out of high school. So the idea of moving to New York City seemed really far away then. That's me, that's the trailer I lived in, that was baby Owen. This was me in the newspaper when I was skateboarding behind Owen's stroller. Living in that trailer park, living in southeastern Connecticut, I didn't fit in. I felt like a jerk every day of my life. And I did have this like nonsensical plan to move to New York City, to realize that I would always keep it just far enough off to where it couldn't be a reality, it couldn't be tangible. I think like my plan was actually, in 5 years I want to be living in New York City. And then when my baby mama dumped me, I was like, F it, I'm doing it right now. This is the answer to that question that I get a lot, which is, how do I move to New York City, or what's it like to move to New York City? This is New York City. This is a wall. This is you, me, and everyone else who's ever wanted to live in New York City. Now, to get from here to here, you have to go over this wall. And to get over this wall, to do this journey, takes everything you've got. Everything you've ever done in life, everything you've ever earned in life, all the resources you have been used up getting over this wall just to get into the city. And then you're here, you're left in the city and you have nothing. You start at the very, very bottom. And you slowly start this climb again. This time the ascent is in New York City, the hardest place to possibly survive. To be able to live here, to be able to move here, make no mistake, it is war. That's why people say things like, this city will eat you alive. This city will literally eat you alive. My first apartment was a closet so small that I had a futon that couldn't fold out. I had to sleep on the futon in the couch shape because it wouldn't fold out, it was so small. My second apartment was blown up on September 11th. My third apartment was a hardwood floor in my brother's apartment. My fourth apartment had a shared bathroom down the hall that I shared with a bunch of illegal immigrants and people who had just gotten out of prison. That was the first like 2 years of my life in this city. But that was the price of entry. That's what it costs to be here. And what did being here mean? It is, it forever will be for me, the promised land. Like, for the first time in my life, I was at a place where I fit in. The first time in my life, I wasn't surrounded by people who were telling me I was doing things wrong. I could do whatever I wanted to do, whenever I wanted to do it, and I was surrounded by really smart people that encouraged me to do that. That's what New York City was for me. It's as if you went around the world and found all the people that didn't fit in everywhere else and plopped them all on an island. And that island is called Manhattan. And now, at age 34, I mean, it took me like a decade and a half to figure it out, but now I am Tom Hanks in the movie Big. This funhouse, this is my office. Like, I do this, the list that is this, gets a little bit shorter every single day. And it was enabled, first and foremost, by living in this city. That's it for today's vlog. I hope you enjoyed story time.
Gesundheit.
All right. Need something to drink?
Could I have a milkshake or something?
I got a car outside. You want to get out of here?
Uh-huh.